Hi guys. As we have gone through the introduction, so without delaying anything, let's go to the main presentation and start with the topic. So Transpromo, how would you define it? So in today's world, marketing is all about how to get incremental revenue. Everybody is maturing within Indian diaspora of e-commerce. There are different kind of portals delivering different kind of products across India, and as we mature with the platform, the main thing which come across is that how to increase our revenue without spending too much money on different channels. And there would be, we spend on remarketing, we spend on mailers, we spend on Google CPC. So there are different channels through which we can spend our money. But again, there are certain things which we overlook because our direct visibility as a marketing team towards those topic is minimal. And from one of those things, I would rather pick Transpromo as the main source of incremental revenue, or I would say opportunity where a marketing team can work and really do wonders. If it's being if it used properly. Let's how to define Transpromo, or let's define transaction mailers first. So as soon as a customer or a person interacts with the website and is going to receive a message from that particular portal, website, and or any other platform, there, and if the person is going to receive a mail from that portal, it's called transaction mailers, and it occurs at various point of time. So it can be monetary, it can be non-monetary. So I'll give an example. If I'm from print venue, certain stages where we interact with our customers after placing order is first would be, or before placing orders, account confirmation, sign up, and at the time of sign up, you send certain offers, and if the customer places an order, then that stage would become order confirmation. Next stage would be, after processing the order, would be order dispatch, delivery confirmation, and once you have delivered the required product, there would be feedback request mails. So at least there are 5 stages, where a general e-commerce portal would interact with the customer once they get on board. Again, we have to ask ourselves, do we really use this opportunity to provide some kind of offer to a customer who is spending, who's giving the maximum amount of time and attention at this point of time, seeing your mail, and he was already waiting for this mail. So we have to ask ourselves, do we really put required attention to this? My answer would be that, except from the first step, account confirmation and sign up, very little attention goes to the customer for this for these communications. Apart from e-commerce, there are other kind of portals. I would say, for example, Office 365 or Reader's Digest, where subscription renewal, usage alerts, query resolution response, these kind of transaction mailers are going on. But for today's discussion, I would rather focus on how to place an order and how to use that point of communication to deliver extra value to the customer, and at the same time making extra money for your team and for the company. So again, today we have to focus at how we can use transactional mailers with great impact. So the one way is to include promotion within that transaction mailer. So that's how this topic came up today, Transpromo. So in case of Transpromo, we have to decide, what should, again, this is a very less explored topic, and we have to figure out the guidelines, how we can actually maximize the output from this kind of interaction with the client, and how we can manage a great CIR, because every step in an organization would rather be, I would say, cost driven. So again, you check the cost and how much money you have made out of it, defines your ROI, and all those steps where revenue is not being generated, it's a kind of burden on an organization. So again, let's take the business case for Transpromo. So the challenges which are being faced by e-commerce firm today is that I'll list down, and it's on your screen as well. So we store terabytes and terabytes of customer visit, click, purchase data, and we always use this data post hoc. We don't use it real time. Although we are collecting it real time, it's being used in future mailers, future campaigns, future promotions through different channels. But the real-time application is missing. On the other hand, when the order has been placed, those transaction mails are going very, very plain. They don't contain offer, they just consist the item you have purchased, its price, and expected dispatch date. So these are the 3 main details which I would expect to see on a transaction mailers. Okay, and there's lack of consistent messaging for transaction mailers. So you would see same format which is not being changed. There is no messaging from the portal side apart from the order details and status. And so given that you have the maximum focus from the customer, you are not giving anything in return so that he can, so I would say customer delight is missing. And when we store data and when we analyze it and when we create campaigns in the future for that purchase, so the impact of that kind of promotion dilutes. So normally we send promotions through mailers where we have limited open rate, click rates are very low, and there is no guarantee that the person who has purchased in the past would open that mailer. So all that time you have invested on analyzing all that data, I think it has gone to waste, because if that person does not open your email or doesn't interact with any other promotion channel, so the time spent on analysis is going to get waste, and again it has cost associated with it. So how to improve these kind of things? And one of the instant way of improving this is Transpromo. So because of these challenge, I'll let you know the impact also. How does it impact us? The first impact would be you have the maximum focus from the customer, but the problem is that you are just showing the information he is looking for. This is not an extra delight. That factor is missing. He would rather be happy if you can provide him an extra piece of information which can either in terms of promotion, in terms of product recommendation, in terms of any other action which can increase his involvement factor with the firm, with the e-commerce portal. Again, sending a transactional mailer is a cost driven thing. So if you don't put anything extra onto that, obviously it would result in just in cost and zero ROI. And at the end of the day, when we define e-commerce firm, it's all about efficiencies. It's all about reducing cost steps which are occurring and without giving us back any revenue. So the entire e-commerce portal is about efficiency and how to improve efficiency in incremental steps. And as of now, all of us are maturing in terms of providing proposition to customers, and we have to find out the sources of revenue, how we can do better and how we can do fast enough, so that revenue which is supposed to come in future after 1 month or a second transaction and third transaction should come today right itself. And for that, Transpromo is really crucial from that incremental point of view. Again, as I mentioned, you have the maximum attention from the user, so it makes even more sense to give him something back and use his focus really well, so that he can respond back to your offer. What are you going to give him back in terms of regarding to the current purchase or regarding to the current plan he's using. And again, there are two ways. How will you define a customer delight moment? Either you can give him a generic offer which may or may not be liked by the customer, or second option can be you can use analytics. And when I say analytics, it's a vast field. There are several techniques which you can use to find out what are the customer preferences, what are the products which are being liked by across segments. So you would have different segments in your customer population, and you can analyze all those segments and put the best recommendation for that customer, and it can be done through Transpromo. The other thing which I haven't mentioned is that the main challenge is that we leave transactional mailers to IT team. That is the biggest challenge, because we feel that once a customer has done the transaction, the job for marketing team is done. It would be taken over by operations guys, and then it would be delivered by logistics guys. But the real challenge starts right from that point of time. We can get a customer to do transaction, but what about the repeat purchases? And the real test of marketing is that how you make sure that that customer who is buying from your portal would come back to your site. And when the customer is at the transaction point, we just leave him alone so that he can check his invoice, he can check the content on the card, and he can finalize that everything is done fine and I can go offline. But no, I wouldn't agree to that. This is something we have to take back from IT team. It has to be designed entirely by marketing team. As of now, I think marketing team at more or less places, they would just do the text part. Okay, when it comes down to what all information is going to go in there, it would be decided by IT and logistics. So that is not the right approach if you want to make it as an incremental case of revenue. It has to be taken back into marketing fold, how it's going to look like, how how it would impact, in terms of ROI. Marketing team has to decide how many number of offers, what kind of offers has to be given at the bottom. It has to be decided by marketing, again using some guidelines. I'll share those later, but the need of the hour is that this step has to get back to marketing team, especially the analytics team, which can recommend the real-time offers. Okay, so as I've been telling that my Transpromo is a great platform to get started with incremental revenue, but we have to understand that with every business case you have to define the ROI, you have to define the effort, you have to define the time also to the peers and to the seniors.